I'm Richard Clarke. I record these talks every day as a way to deepen my inquiry. Listen each day and deepen your own practice. Welcome. I'm reviewing and commenting on the book Talks with Sri Ramana Maharshi. Today is from Talk 326, Part 3. Maharshi, the bliss of peace is too good to be disturbed. A man fast asleep hates to be awakened and ordered to mind his business. The bliss of sleep is too enthralling to be sacrificed to the work born of thoughts. The thought-free state is one's primal state and full of bliss. Is it not miserable to leave such a state for the thought-ridden and unhappy one? If one wants to abide in the thought-free state, a struggle is inevitable. One must fight one's way through before regaining one's original primal state. If one succeeds in the fight and reaches the goal, the enemy, namely the thoughts, will all subside in the self and disappear entirely. The thoughts are the enemy. They amount to the creation of the universe. In their absence, there is neither the world nor God the Creator. The bliss of the self is the single being only. In this talk, Ramana Maharshi is giving his insights into the nature of peace and the state free from thoughts, emphasizing the bliss and serenity inherent in a mind empty of thoughts. Maharshi begins by speaking of the bliss of peace and deep sleep, too good to be disturbed. He suggests that just as you, deeply asleep, resist being awakened from that pleasurable state, so too does one full of the bliss of thought-free peace resist the intrusion of mental activity. The bliss of being without thoughts is so fulfilling that engaging in worldly concerns seems undesirable and even painful. Why bother? I want to stay in the bliss, you might say. This is like a built-in feedback loop that helps you maintain this peace. Ramana talks about the thought-free state as our original and fundamental state, which is naturally blissful. Ramana implies that departing from this state to engage in thought-based activities that give rise to suffering and unrest is inherently miserable. Therefore, he advises returning to the primal, blissful state, even if it needs a struggle, an internal battle against the incessant intrusion of thoughts. From other talk, we know that these thoughts rise up from unresolved vasanas, tendencies. The self-knowledge brought by your spiritual practice will resolve vasanas. Vasanas are based on misidentifications, like the misidentification with the idea that you are a body, and an associated and mistaken idea of how to find happiness. We all want, always, to be happy. The mind thinks that happiness comes from things and activities. These may bring pleasure and happiness, but they are fleeting, temporary. To stay happy is what we want. We desire lasting happiness. Thus, the natural search for happiness drives the vasana, and the misidentification directs the search towards objects that are, by their very nature, impermanent and bring no lasting happiness. How do you find lasting happiness from impermanence? Inquire into the misidentification. Is this who I am? Who am I? Ask, where does lasting happiness come from? Asking this, you start to notice that it comes from within yourself when thoughts get quiet. Your search for happiness turns within, and then your practice has its own natural momentum, ever deeper. The Maharshi describes this struggle as a necessary process for those seeking to abide in the thought-free state permanently. It involves confronting and overcoming the dominance of thoughts that obstruct the inherent peace of the self. He characterizes thoughts as enemies that perpetuate the illusion of the universe and the Creator, suggesting that they are responsible for the conceptualization of both worldly existence and divine entities. Ramana says that achieving the thought-free state involves a vigorous conquest over those thoughts. When you succeed in this internal struggle and attain the goal of thoughtlessness, the power of thought dissolves entirely into the essence of the self, leading to their end. Neither the world nor the notion of a separate entity, deity, or creator persists. Only the singular, blissful existence of the self remains, and you are that. Ramana Maharshi's talk underscores the profound significance of realizing and abiding in the thought-free state, which he declared to be the original and blissful nature of our being. He invites you to engage in an internal struggle against the tyranny of thoughts. Dissolve your tendencies, transcend mental ideas and constructs, and realize the singular bliss of the self. So inquire, know yourself, and be always free and at peace. The book, Who Am I with Comments, is my take on these early teachings of Ramana Maharshi. It's available on Amazon, free to Kindle subscribers. A link is in the video notes. These videos bring Ramana's teachings into your direct experience. Click subscribe to see more. Click thumbs up to like, and send questions and start a dialogue with a comment.